Thanks for tuning into my next video on the 4 questions every prospective leader and every leader needs to ask themselves if they want to discover their own potential for being a good leader. If you want to reach for the heights of achieving great leadership, you need to contemplate the answers to the following 4 questions. Now, I'm going to give you what I think are the right answers to these questions. You may disagree. But if you have a different answer, it still has to be a good answer. Because what we know in leadership is that neutral actors do damage, and you'll find that as a reoccurring theme in all my videos. So if you want to advance into leadership thinking that you're going to wallflower your way through your career, all you're going to do is do damage to your group, okay? So before you go into leadership, you want to make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. And it's really important that if you discover that leadership is not for you, that's okay. Not everybody's cut out to be a leader. I know when you're advancing within an organization that next step might be going from a journey level position into a first line supervisor. I know that paycheck may be very inviting, but if you're not ready for leadership and you're able to get the job anyway, and that's not unusual, by the way, you're just going to do damage to the group, and you're going to place yourself in a position that gives you lots of anxiety because you're not going to be very good at what you do. Okay? So it's a matter of discovering and finding out what makes you tick. This is really a self-discovery process so you can better understand what you're getting into. So let's go to the first question. And the first question is, do you agree? So, do you agree with shared values? Do you agree of operating in a collaborative environment that uses collaborative group behaviors? Do you deeply value shared values? Do you deeply value collaborative group behaviors? Do you understand what they're attempting to do in a fundamental way? And are you willing to demonstrate collaborative group behaviors to the people that work for you? You'll want to remember in all the videos that leadership needs to institute collaborative leadership initiatives. That's something that everybody in the leadership team needs to demonstrate. But what we also say over and over again is that everybody in the group, from the entry-level employee all the way to the CEO, also needs to demonstrate collaborative group behaviors. If you look through the collaborative group behaviors and you find out you don't agree, then becoming the leader of a group that's using collaborative group behaviors simply is not going to work for you. So you want to make sure that as you read collaborative group behaviors, this is something that you're willing to participate in wholly and honestly at a fundamental level. Sometimes what people will look at in terms of collaborative group behaviors or other shared valued organizations that have high levels of productivity is that they want the high levels of productivity, but they don't want to participate in the collaboration necessary to get there. If you try to leapfrog towards high levels of productivity while at the same time as a leader or somebody in a leadership position that doesn't want to demonstrate collaborative group behaviors or other sets of shared values, you are going to fail miserably. So really carefully reflect on the question, do you agree? And if you don't agree to collaborative group behaviors, then you're not going to do well leading in a group that uses them. Next question, do you care? In order to lead a group with an enhanced environment using shared values, such as collaborative group behaviors, you have to care about the people that are working for you. What this means is that the leader must protect collaborative group members who want to collaborate. If the behavior of some of the people in the group is chronically destructive to the relationships in the group, as a leader, you need to be able to protect the people that do want to collaborate. If you have chronic destructive behaviors destroying relationships within the group that can't be corrected, it will destroy the group's ability to collaborate. Group members from millions of groups worldwide suffer with chronic destructive, uncorrectable behavior in their groups. And the reason they suffer from it is because they are led by people who are doing nothing about it. The people that want to collaborate in those groups become the silent majority, and the rules of the roost are people with destructive behavior under leadership that won't do anything about it. When that happens, it's not fair to the people in the group that want to collaborate. It's not fair to the people that support those groups, like the shareholders or the donors or the taxpayers. And it's certainly not fair to those that we ask to lead these groups. Yes, the leaders themselves. So we want to make sure that we have a system by which we have leaders that are only allowed to lead if they care about the people that work for them. So this includes protecting the people who want to collaborate, and it's about retraining or removing the chronic, destructive, uncorrectable behaviors within the group. Now, I say chronic, destructive, uncorrectable behaviors, and that's a very important distinction. You can have chronic, destructive behaviors in your group that you find out are correctable, and as a leader, that's what you want to do. But when you're faced with heavy toxic actors that don't want to change their behaviors, regardless of how much training you give them, how much counseling you give them, once that's determined to be a chronic, destructive behavior that's uncorrectable, then leadership needs to do something to make sure that the collaboration within the group continues to flourish and that the relationships within the group continue to support a collaborative effort. Caring for your people also means making sure you're creating a culture that allows people to create great things. And in my other videos, I'll talk a lot about what it takes to create those types of environments where people are able to achieve great things. And one of the ways you do that is by creating a culture that maximizes inclusion, control, and openness, and creates a level of job satisfaction that results in very high levels of productivity. So it's job satisfaction first, high productivity second. And that's all done by a leader who cares enough to create that type of culture, okay? So to answer this question, it all comes down to how much you care about the people who work for you, okay? With the commitment of caring about the people who work for you comes the duty to deal with people from the group who are demonstrating chronic, destructive, uncorrectable behavior. When you can do both, then you've answered the question, do you care? So reflect carefully on this question. Dealing with people that have destructive behaviors and having to protect those people that want to collaborate in your group is not an easy thing to do, and it's not for everybody. So reflect carefully on the answer you have to question number 2, which is, do you care? That's the end of question number 2 and part 1 of this video. Tune into part 2 where we ask and answer questions 3 and 4. Thanks for watching.